Hi, in this tutorial we're going to have a look at a picture of Zell and these lovely mountains over in the Salzburg area of Austria, which we've just been to. So this is a 10-stop shot. The filter gives a bit of a blue cast, so the first thing I would do is find something white and press W for white balance and click on that. What's whiter than snow? So there you go. Try it on another piece of snow if you want, just to make sure you've got it right. Okay, so that's pretty much sorted out the white balance. Secondly, I think I was a little bit out with the horizon. Remember, water tends to go flat, so I use the lake as my horizontal line. Okay, hit OK on that. Next, there's quite a lot of brightness going on in the sky and down this side because the sun was blaring out at us, so I'm just going to pull that down, and you see we get a little bit more of this detail in the sky. I'm going to make a decision on the crop whether to lose this bright area here. If you're a camera club member, you've got to do that, otherwise the judge will mark you down, but you can see it as a creative decision. So I'm just going to, I'll tell you what, if you keep your finger on the shift key when you do this, what happens is it keeps the same shape as you're going. So this is probably 3 wide, 2 high, that ratio. So let's pop that there. Quite like that. Next, let's have a look what happens when we open the shadows up. We get these lovely orange colours coming here. White, well, I was going to add a little bit of white. See how it's just brightening everything up. I'm going to put a vignette on later, so that'll darken this white ridge there. Finally, let's just press the Alt key, and with a move to the left we can add a bit of punch with the black. This area down here is going to clip, so I'm not going to go too far with it. Okay, so all we've done so far is crop, white balance, and these 4 sliders. I'm going to add a bit of contrast, not much, maybe 14. Clarity, maybe 20 or 30. If you have too much, I'll show you what happens. You get a thing called haloing. It's not too bad on this actually, but what you find is you get like a dark edges and a bit of a white glow around stuff. Let's just switch. Okay, let's try that there. Oh, you can see it over here a little bit. Oh, I've got a dust spot, look. Let's just get rid of that with the dust removal tool. So click on there and bang, off that goes. Right. I want to make something of these colours over here. So let's click on the hue saturation panel and go for saturation. Click on the little eye pointer thing there, and then go and pick a leaf or two, and let's increase the saturation of those leaves. Let's make it look proper autumnal. See how the oranges have gone up quite a lot, and then we're going to try and brighten them up a little bit as well. There we go. Notice it's also affecting other parts of the shot. When you do this, it's not selective, it just picks a colour and changes it for you. So I'm sliding it up and down there. It's brightening up the trees, but it's also brightening up the rest of the photo, so you've got to be a little bit careful with that. You can use the oval tool for this actually, which I'll show you. So whatever's on the inside, if you have the mask inverted, whatever's on the inside it will change. So I'll just show you the area it's changing by adding lots of exposure. So for this I'm going to increase the saturation and maybe just add a tiny, you don't want too much exposure change, you just want to, in fact I think I'm going to zero the exposure and maybe lift the shadows up a bit. Oh yeah, look at that, it's probably there. You don't look at it looking too out of this world. Okay. Now there's a bit of a glow going on the mountain which looks a bit odd, so I'm going to go back, click on it and just reduce the size and maybe increase the feather, and that will just reduce how much glow there is on the edge there. Okay, so I think with doing a lot of that stuff, we've made the sky a bit brighter than I wanted, so let's use a Grad Tool. So I'm going to click there and gradually fade down there, and all I'm going to do is add a bit of clarity and maybe just reduce exposure a tiny bit. So that's only like 0.48, and maybe the shadow, the highlights rather, something like that. If you added highlights, it's blow it all out, so we're just doing the opposite really. Right, that's okay. So we're getting something a bit nicer there, aren't we? Detail wise, let's have a quick zoom in to something in the foreground, which is this jetty. So we can add a bit of, I don't really like the detail slider, so I tend to zero that. It just adds lots of grain. Whereas if you have a lot of sharpening, fairly big radius, all these boulders start to stand out. Just a tiny little bit of noise reduction. I would like to just do the profile corrections on the lens. I'm using a Canon 16-35 lens, so it knows exactly what to do with that. We've already leveled the thing up, so I don't think we need to touch the transform panel. So in the effects, I always do the same sort of vignette. So I do a small, midpoint, big feather, and then you can just fade in how much you want. There's a few different modes. Now paint's quite an interesting one. Paint overlay. It sort of softens the edges a little bit. Colour priority doesn't something different. I'm not too sure how you describe that. And highlight priority, this is the one you're used to, but it's not really affecting these edges too much. So I'm going to try the paint one. So it flattens those edges out a little bit. That's just, you know, gives it a softer kind of look, more painterly. That's the word. Yeah, it's there for a reason, isn't it? Okay, so we've got all the way to the bottom now. So one thing I've noticed is the histogram's not got any white in it, so I'm just going to grab a hold of the white slider, put my Alt key down, and just slide it to the right a bit. And so I think something like that would work. If you're ever in doubt about the crop, I tend to just go right click on the photo, create a virtual copy, and then let's try something a little bit tighter. Maybe quite like this bit of cloud in the corner there, so let's try that. And how about we change the vignette type to be more traditional. See, that's a bit more dramatic, if that's what you're after. Yeah, so you've got a couple of options there, a more sort of subtle looking one and a more dramatic one with a bit more brightness and different crop. So I think the thing with editing a landscape, it's all down to your personal taste. Thanks for watching.